Welcome to the Monday dev stream. Oh wait, actually there's something you need to check. One sec. Yes, sorry. Welcome to the Monday dev stream where today we will be working on a sea temple. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to work on this. It's going to be awesome. I did a quick little projection to start and it rises out of the water. So it's going to be a lot of little doohickeys to work out here. But hopefully we can work it out. Hello, Nuri M. Welcome. Oh, let me turn up my volume so I don't miss people's follows. All right, so I'm standing on this like circle here. It doesn't look very beautiful, but it's just something for me to stand on in the middle of the ocean. Normally, I'm supposed to be on a boat out here, but it's just going to be easier to test if I have something to stand on. So we've got a placeholder that I'm now going to replace. It's this mesh right here. And I suppose, you know, I believe it's being referenced by some stuff. So we need to make sure that we've got this. So let's add a new group and let's call this like rises. Just so we know that this is the part that rises. This other stuff, I don't think it has anything important on it. I'm pretty sure we can delete it. I'm pretty sure we can delete this. We've got this beach, terrain, beach. Maybe we want to... Do we want a little bit of terrain? We might. We might just for something to walk on. So I'm just going to stick that in the rises. Oh, well. We've got to work with the prefab here. Let's check out the prefab, I guess. It's kind of annoying. You know, it's actually going to be easier for me right now if I unpack this prefab. Well, okay. It will be nice later to have it prefabbed. But it's annoying in Unity to work in prefabs. Like you don't have the context, so I find it just hard. And I wish I could just work on it in the scene, but you can't because you can't like move things around, which is really stupid. I don't understand why that limitation is a thing. Louder 360, hello and welcome. Hello. All right, so I'm pretty sure I could just delete this. It's going to mess up the animation. Hey, where is our animation anyway? Louder 360, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. And Ronders MSFT, hello and welcome. So what's going on here with this animation? I guess the animation is maybe added at the, yep. So even the animation is added at a higher level, which is strange. I would think you'd want, yeah, I would think you'd want that animation in the prefab, but anyway. I'm pretty sure we can take this object name and rename this. In fact, if we open this prefab and make sure that rises group has the exact same transforms, copy components, then it should even work. Paste values. Oh, okay, it was already at 0, 0. So we'll just go ahead and, where did it go? Where is it? Huh. Well, this is odd. So here is the origin is like not, it's not at origin. All right. So this thing, it says it's at 0, 0, but I know it. Okay. All right. Whatever. Anyway, let's stick this little swim thing underneath. Oh, and it has this crazy offset. Oh, we're going to have to address that as well. Lots of things to address here. Okay. Let's save that and back up. Save that and back up. Cat Payum, hello and welcome. Cat Payum says, love the demo, but I haven't been able to progress after like 40 minutes of playing. What are you stuck on? crashes at the same location every time. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I've been hearing some people speak of crashes. I actually heard 2 reports of crashes in the last 24 hours, which before that I only heard 1 report of crashing. So I'm wondering what that could be. Already posted it in the bugs channel. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. And it's not your specs, right? You have a video card. You have a decent computer. I'm assuming it's not. Well, thank you. Oh gosh, I hope we can figure out that crash thing. Those ones are usually spooky. Let's see why. You reported the bug in the bug channel. Did you by any chance send a log file to Glimmerwick bugs email? Oh, 4070. Okay. It's not the computer then. On Linux. So you must be using Wine or something like that. Let me copy the name of this rises, and I think I can just rename this. Can't I? Can't I rename this? I thought that was a thing I could do. Maybe I can't. Well, anyway, I guess we'll just try to key this. And then it rises up. And we'll just look at, I guess this is, oh, the beach rises. That's interesting. You know what? I don't care. We're just going to remove all this crap. We don't need anything. We'll just have an empty animation for now, and we'll animate it all ourselves. I'm just even going to delete that position. Okay, slow going here, slow going. Oh, we do have, let's turn that keyframing off, and let's check out rises. It's just in a really strange position. It does say 0, 0, but I guess I'm just going to put it under the water here. Or like at least maybe somewhere around where this beach is. And then we'll put that beach. Do we have some kind of other beach mesh? Beach sandbar mounds. I think that's maybe going to be better for us. Sandbar mounds. Yeah, I think that'll be better for us. And then we can just sort of scale this up. I don't know what kind of texture it's got on here. Clearly nothing that is going to work. Yeah, it's very low textile density, but we'll deal with that later. It's not like an actual crash, but more like it freezes and then does nothing until I stop manually. Because it doesn't pop up with the Unity crash handler. Well, it's like a soft lock, like the game's still running. You know, I'll have to probably read the bug report. Well, sorry about that. Okay, here is our rises group. Put that underground. And I'll put the beaches as a child of the rise. Oh, right. We can't do anything because we can't mess with the prefab. So much friction here. Okay, let's put the beach under there. And finally, let's bring in this mesh, this sea temple mesh that has not been exported. Let me export it for the first time. We'll have to find a path. It's going to go out to models and not remap relative. Accept, save, export, and it looks like it's successfully exported. Sea temple. There it is. Well, the audio is running, but nothing else. God damn it. That's exactly like the bug we had on Eastshade. Definitely some kind of deep Unity crap. Douglas Uppity asks, what engine is this? This is Unity. Probably the game thread freezes and the audio's on another thread. Yeah, something like that. Oh boy, not that one. I don't want to deal with that bug again. Dan D. Jordan, thank you very much for the follow. Your Twitch name is similar to my real name in that my name is Danny and my middle name is Jordan. So Danny Jordan. Yeah, that sounds like a really bad. Sounds like a really bad crash bug. Really spooky. My least favorite ones. But we'll have to take a look at it. God, it's just like eShade had that exact same, still has that exact same one because I couldn't figure out how to repro it. So you can't repro it. You're kind of screwed. This needs to be way bigger and it needs to be rotated. I think it needs to be rotated to, what would it even need to be rotated to? This is interesting. I guess we'll see. We'll just save it. Well, I'll put the sea temple here almost on the ground. I'll float it a little bit and make it much bigger and we'll save it. And we'll back up. Okay. Really having trouble getting orientated. Okay. So it should be something like this. 170 maybe? Is that really? That doesn't seem right. Rises, do you have a rotation? No. Does Underwater Temple have a rotation? No. Does Raisable Temple have a rotation? Nothing has a rotation all the way up. So I'm not really understanding why this one looks skewed. Maybe my math is wrong. Well, let's... Oh. 180? It must be 180. Must be. Okay, and then I will apply that. Oh yeah, not everyone had it. It was in the Tiefmoor Bluffs. There was one crash in the Tiefmoor Bluffs that sometimes people would get. And it usually was just once. And you'd get the one crash in your playthrough and then that's it. But I guess for some people it happened more than others. And I even saw the crash a couple times. I just couldn't figure out how to repro it. I didn't even know where to start on it. I mean, it had something to do with the load additive async. Okay, let's figure out this animation. Why does it go all the way up like this when we're in animate? I guess, oh, because there's one keyframe here. Okay, delete that keyframe. I don't want it. All right, there we go. And now the Underwater Temple, I guess we'll go rises. We will key the position here. So we'll make sure. Actually, I really should start it. Yeah, I could start it even lower. So let's unkey. Let's just make sure to go really low here. We don't want to see anything about this in the water. And now let's key it. 71. Okay, and let's get a really nice should take a long time for this thing to come all the way up to the surface. So here we go. It comes out of the water like this. Very nice. And I want it to actually be a little bit there, just floating above the water ever so slightly. Yeah, something like that, I suppose. maybe even a little bit more. Negative 8.5. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and it appears that this thing is not in the quite correct location, so we're gonna have to take a look at that. How? We might have to sort of move that over a little bit. Okay, I'll copy this. We'll just put it at 30 on the Z, and we'll go to the last keyframe. And put it at 30 on the Z. Okay. And then we'll go out of animation mode, and I just want to make sure it's... Oh, okay. I guess it's still 30 on the Z. I don't exactly know why. So we're out of animation mode. Oh, no, I don't want to animate. I don't understand why it's trying to animate. Very odd. Yeah, I can see that they're blue. These ones aren't. And in the second I move this, it seems to want to set a keyframe, which is weird because I don't have it in auto key. Very weird. I want it to be in 30. Okay. What does that look like? So I'm going to play the animation. Okay, clearly we need the beginning to be faster. Ah, look at how big it is. It is absolutely massive. We're also going to need a camera magnet. So we want it to be directly in front of the player. So let's try to make that happen. Actually, we could just move the dark water patch. So here's where the temple rises. If we go to the last frame of the animation, there we go. And I want that dark patch to be just like right in front of the temple. We also have this camera, virtual camera, which I would like to put in place now. I think that's going to be important for how this thing looks. So I'll make sure to apply all of our changes. And this temple is very dark. Gonna increase the brightness just a little bit. Turn off the random color intensity. We don't want that. And we've got to decide on the size of this thing and everything. All right, first let's grab a camera from somewhere. So let's go like VC, somebody's VC. Mel's Island VC. That seems like a good one to copy. And then we'll go back into our raisable temple prefab, and I'm going to open it, and then I'm going to paste that VC in there. And I'll put it at 0, 0, 0. And then, gosh, this temple really is off to the side here. So we're just going to make sure it's pointing right at it. And it's going to be almost impossible to tell what size we should have this camera. Or how far out. But now we should be able to go to this component and hopefully hook up the camera, and that camera should turn on. So I really don't like this whipple waffling between the prefab. I really just want to crack this thing open. It's very difficult and tedious to work right now. I guess we turn this VC off. And Go to the root and then hook up the camera. All right, let's test it. So let's put that player on that little dark water patch and see if it actually works. Just want to see what we've got. We also need a little camera rumble, just one at a time, adding these bits. Okay, so I don't really know why I don't have any spells here. It seems a little strange. I gotta pin this one. I don't think I can do that here. What are you talking about? Why can't she not do that? Why can't she do that here? Let's take a look at that. Also seeing the deep ocean markup really close to this, which I don't really understand why. That is... But perhaps we'll need to move it over more. So the raisable temple, we'll move the whole thing over away from the border, hopefully. Although we're getting a little bit close to this island here. Let me look at the ocean walls. It's not the swim walls. Deep? Something about deep ocean or something? No, it's not that either. Okay. Let me fly around here. There should be a gizmo. Some kind of sign. Why are these things so hard to find, and why can I never remember the name of them ever? They should be checked out. So much friction. So much friction right now. Okay, well, something about a wall. I know that. Man. Indicator? Deep? Something, it should be like deep seas or something. I mean, what would I have called them? I just modified them today. So, okay. Absolutely insane. Let's go to take all these interiors, I guess, and revert if unchanged. So there's not that many things checked out, and I know that I modified them. I know I did. So then where are they? Am I going crazy? Am I losing my mind? Ocean boundary. Really? Ocean boundary. That's what you went with. Ocean boundary. I mean, it's not that crazy. But it took me a long time to find. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the mesh render just so we can see where the ocean boundary is. All right, so now the ocean boundary is nowhere in view, so we are definitely far enough away now. And I'm actually just going to leave it on while we work because it's just easier to see what's going on. Luigi, hello, says, I've been working, following your vids lately. Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's see what's going on. We've got, let's put our player now on the deep ocean indicator. And let's see why we can't cast the spell. Why can't we cast the spell? We have, what is there any markup on this? No, there's no markup on this. So what is it that tells the spell that it can cast? We're just going to have to go into the song datas, open this up, and actually look at the Temple Raiser song. And it checks the distance for raisable temples. So raisable temple.raisable temples. So that is the component we're looking for. And I'll just copy the name of it, raisable temple. And we will just by type. Okay. So here is the component is actually sitting on the group. All right. So we really want, very fine control over that. Because I don't want to have to move, like we're going to have to animate this thing very carefully. And then what if I want to move the actual area where the player is supposed to cast the spell? It creates some real issues for us. So I don't love how that is on the group root and when we have all this animation dependency happening underneath. Ideally, I would want a separate place where I can put that. A separate transform that I can actually work with. But I guess, I don't know, right now we'll just work with it. I'll just put this on 0, 0, 0. Why did it go? No, why did it go over there? I'm just so confused about everything. Everything is confusing me right now. Oh, okay, so the raisable temple, there it is. All right, so let's copy this transform and then paste it right here. Paste component values. There. Now we have the platform theoretically exactly where it ought to be. And now we can just put the player right there, right in the middle of it. And we should be able to cast our spell. We should be able to. The other thing is I want to know why we can't just cast it from our quick bar. We have acquired spells. Like, why is no spells in our quick bar? It's perfected. Doesn't make any sense to me why it's not in our quick bar. Water trap, let's put that in perfected and let's see if water trap shows up in our quick bar. I'm also going to make sure, okay, till is definitely should be showing up in our quick bar. I don't understand why nothing's showing up in our quick bar. Very unusual. Okay. Luigi says, may I ask you, for a game as pretty as Trying To, would a price tag of $15 on Steam be reasonable? Pricing is super hard. Nobody knows the answer to pricing. You know, it's one of those things you just have to feel out. We don't have a lot of data on it because you can't really A/B pricing, right? You can't release your game with two different prices and then see which one does better. And obviously the lower price is going to sell more, but is it going to sell more than, you know, what it needs to make up the difference for the higher net revenue per unit on the higher price? So it's really difficult. I would just try to look for as many games as you can in similar genres that are similar to yours, or at least that you suspect the player perception is similar to yours, and see what games have priced at and see what kind of numbers they sold and go from there. Yeah, it's really difficult. And every genre is different. And I only really know our tiny little bubble. We do have some data in that we have Eastshade, which was $25. And we know that it seemed to do okay, but we still don't know. I mean, maybe if we priced Eastshade at $15, it would have made 3 times as much money. We have absolutely no idea. Or maybe the people who wanted Eastshade were just really, by the time they bought it, were just really crazy about it, and then we could have priced it at $40 and it would have made more money. So hard to know. I mean, I imagine that would be pretty crazy, right? I don't think that's the case, but it is very hard. Pricing is so hard. Luna, thank you very much for the follow. Also, there was no sound for this. 3 stream streak. Oh, is that not something? Wait. I don't actually know what that message means at all. I'm a Twitch idiot. I'm barely holding on here. So, okay, so why? Look at this. We do have a fish trap. Just fish trap is showing up. What? Literally, what the heck? What the heck? Like, if I go into, I clearly have till mastered. Why is it not showing up? I just want to see what happens if I master this song. I'll turn off the audio. Okay. I still don't have till. Just unbelievable. All right. That is annoying me, but we will continue. Hymn of the Seas. I'm going to pin that song, and we're just going to play that song real quick. Oops. Played it wrong. That is not the song. It's a placeholder. Okay. Well, the spell worked. We got the update, and okay, and the thing is rising. But the camera magnet didn't enable. So it's going to be a long road. Okay, I am Dolph. Hello, welcome. Oh, it's saying on pricing, something to add. If you've got an engaged audience that you've collected, you can try Van Westendorp pricing model. It's a research method to find a happy spot for pricing. Interesting. I've never heard of that. I am Dolph. That sounds a lot better than just guessing from your gut, which is what I do. So what's going on here? Why did Mel's... Oh, first of all, we really need to rename that camera magnet because we should not have the same name. This should be called Sea Temple. It would be C. Is it maybe because the priority was not high enough? Has a priority of 1. Maybe it just needs a higher priority. Interesting. You need people to ask. It's basically a number of questions you can ask to get a feel for how much people are willing to pay. Interesting. All right. Thank you for playing the demo, Pastel Western. Really appreciate that. So I can't say I'm sad for you. We like to hear about the tears when the demo ends that people have, because that means that they liked it. So sorry, not sorry. Thank you for playing it. I really appreciate that. So still the camera magnet doesn't work. Did it activate? No, the camera magnet did not activate. Crazy. Well, can we at least see the scale? Not really. Is the scale right? Okay, let's move the camera forward. The scale is too big. I would say we need to scale it down by... Oh... we need to scale it to like 0.6. This is so difficult. There's so many different parts that need to be finessed here. All right, yes, if anyone wants to check out the demo, just put a link there to our Steam page. Please, by all means, go check it out. All right. So the raisable temple, let's see what happens when the spell is actually cast. There's this do spell. Let me see if the the camera's ever referenced. It is. It's referenced on arrive for spell. I don't know. Yeah, I don't exactly know what's going on there with that, but I guess I'm gonna unlink it because I don't know what it's supposed to do. I just don't know exactly how all this stuff is supposed to work. But I am just going to key the activation of that virtual camera. This is roughly where I want the camera. So now if we can just sort of animate to this. So really all the rising happens at the tail end. So if we can just maybe set a keyframe right here for the position. And then move that keyframe, and then take this entire thing and just move it way up, then we can speed up the entire beginning process. All right, it's coming out of the water now. I wonder if we do have to make this more vertical. Tough to say. But it is entirely too large, first of all. So let's turn off. This is not an animation. We just want all this to be smaller. So I'm thinking like 6. And it didn't go anywhere near high enough. So we want to move this closer. Want to move this over. So you want to compose this whole frame here. And I will move it up a little bit just to make sure we have good distance over the water. And I guess we're going to need a wider camera angle because this is not very big. So I'll just kind of put it in the middle there. And then I guess zoom the camera back, although we're already so far away. Do we need a wider field of view? Let's go 7. I don't want to get any wider because it's already like the player's probably going to be somewhere around there. I guess it's okay if we lose track of the player a little bit. I guess it's okay if the player goes off screen just a little. So this is mostly where the action's going to be happening. Okay. And I'm just looking at the rising out of the water, if everything looks good. I think it does the job pretty well. I mean, I'm not crazy about how the waterline is looking, but I'm hoping that we have enough like foam and stuff to make this look good. And I don't like how you can really gives itself away at the very end there, but we'll try. If it goes a little bit higher, then it'll go through that last part much more quickly. So let's maybe just key it to go. Actually, we won't key it to go a little higher. We'll just raise that temple a little bit more, like 3.3. It's a sound I don't hear very often. I am Dolph. Thank you for the sub. Very, very kind of you. Also, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Very kind. Let me catch up with chats. I'm Dolph says, could you position the camera down so it looks grand? Yeah, definitely trying to go for that. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. What's going on here with the reflections is pretty ugly, like how the water's washing out and everything. Anyway, let's keep going here. Let's get, first of all, a waterline shader. That will help just a little bit. Oh, yes. I also forgot that we have this music director component that we don't want to be right on top of, which we currently are. So we got a little markup here. There it is. And we just want to be out of the way of that. So I'll take the entire raisable temple and just move it over, just so we're out of the way of that little particle. Gosh, there's so many of them. We'll try to be right there and then looking through the camera. Okay, I'm just making sure we don't see the deep ocean at all. And it seems like we don't, so we're good there. And it seems like we're out of the way of all of the... Oh, here's one. Oh no, that's an ocean boundary. What is this ocean boundary? Did I miss this? Uh-oh. Oh no, they just, okay, there's just some distance there. But I'm seeing particle. I'm scared. I'm a little scared. Okay, let's test it because I don't trust this. What's going on here? I really thought we were well equipped. I actually did a lot of work before I even started this stream. I thought we were like well equipped to get started, making quick progress. I thought we had all our ducks in a row. But game development sometimes has a way of laughing at you. Let's turn that off. All right, so what a filthy liar. Like, these bounds are completely lying about where their blockage is. Like, can you really sail through all this? You shouldn't be able to. It defeats the whole purpose. And what happens if I turn off the collider? No, 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 no. This is not right. This is not right. This is completely wrong. We need to like revert this prefab. I hope it's just, no, they're all wrong. They're all wrong. So we're in play mode. Let's undo that. So this is frustrating because we're jamming on one thing and then you just find these other crippling bugs. You see how the particles are perfectly inside of the white bounding box. That tells me that I was moving stuff in the prefab that I should not have been. So I need to revert these prefabs to fix this issue because this is not what should be going on here. So let's check. Ocean boundary. Oh, these are not prefabs. Okay, they are. All right. To revert them, I have to open up the boating area. Have I specialized the boating area? Is that what's going on? I think I've specialized this prefab. Ugh, it's just so complicated. Okay. I always forget to crack open the prefabs, and it's impossible to work. When you crack open the prefabs, you can't see the rest of the world, so you have no idea what you're doing. All right, let's fix these boating areas, ocean boundaries. So these ones I've just completely messed up, clearly. Like, let's look at the particle. So there's the white cap. So yeah, it's completely just wrong. Let's revert this, revert all. There we go. So now we get an actual idea of where this is. And I'm really holding on to the prefab root here, which is a very rookie mistake. Very embarrassing, honestly. Just really rookie stuff. Okay. This one. So click on that one and let's revert that, revert all. Here we go. And if I just move that out, we should have a better idea of where that is actually going to fall. This one, let's revert that, revert all. Okay, I've completely messed that one up. And just stick that right here. Okay, and save. And we back up. Hello, Gary Dean. And looking through the camera now, we can't see any of the ocean boundaries. So we should be fine. And I don't think the musical wind is in our way either. So I think we're finally okay. All right. Let's carry on one thing at a time. Come on, keep the pressure, keep the pressure. Sea temple. I want the material for the sea temple, and I want to version it off to make a waterline version. Sea temple waterline. And then we'll check out the seahorse float, and I will, I guess, copy the material presets. It's a cutout oscillate. Waterline, and I will change the shader to the same shader. And then I'm going to paste the properties, paste material properties. I didn't see any change. Anyhow, now I need the name of that material. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to copy this object and just push it back a little and move it down a little. And then I'm going to go ahead and just take the bottom faces. This is where the waterline is going to happen. And I'll delete everything else. Okay. And then I'll put that new material on it. Now when I export, we should be able to see a waterline. Gary Dean says, sometimes in Blender, I forget to go X-ray mode and miss vertices underneath. Yes, I used to do that as well. I finally made the mistake enough times. So here we should get the waterline. So the waterline needs a little bit more distance. So we need this thing to float even more. Looking through the camera, yeah, we're just not getting quite enough waterline. So I guess we need it to be floating even more. The waterline is also not nearly bright enough. Scrolls, all that stuff is fine. We should have a way to brighten it. It's the entire purpose of this texture. I think we might be using selection glow. Okay, we have way too much waterline going on now. So I'm just going to squeeze it closer, really push it a lot closer to the original mesh, and perhaps scale it down a touch. No, I don't want to do that. I might just move some of these verts in on the sides so that we're not seeing that water line sort of behind where it shouldn't be. Okay, let's try that. And now that we've moved that so much closer, seems like we might be able to move this back down closer to the water. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I hate all these settings on this water line. So we want a lower frequency for sure. So here's a lower frequency. Also, I don't know if we want some kind of X scroll as well. Yeah, I think we want an even lower frequency and a bigger offset. So, like the intensity, there's the frequency. Oh, okay, so we actually have control over with this, so we don't need to play with that other value too much. Surely we have some kind of offset parameter. World wave frequency, that's weird. We have so many different frequency settings, but no intensity settings. So I don't quite understand what's going on with that. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I need to increase the scroll. Okay, it looks like the X is not really pulling much weight here. So the scroll is actually what gives us how much. And we want to lower that frequency even more. There, that looks pretty good. But I want it to be thinner, and I want it to kind of disappear sometimes, which means we need to make it even closer to the original mesh. There we go. And then this up here, I guess we just don't want these. I mean, we really don't want any sort of waterline happening there. So I will delete that, and then I'll grab this vert and just sort of pull it in. Oops, my blender froze. No, please come back. Please come back. Oh, please come back. I don't know when I saved, but it's been a while. Okay, came back. Hurry, save. Ah, it's coming back. It's going away again. No, 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 no. Hello, Zaravati. All right, I do love a boat. The UVs are always greatly discouraging. Yeah, it's funny. UVs are such a barrier to entry for 3D for people. It's just very confusing concepts. But now I love UV unwrapping. I feel like it's one of the creative parts. Okay, we need a slightly, I guess, bigger scroll. No, I don't really like the way that's going. I want it to like happen faster or something. There we go. Okay, now we got it to happen faster. Let's go a little in the other direction. That seems pretty good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I still think that it's like, it needs to be just like disappearing a little bit more. I'm going to raise it up a little. There we go. I just wanted to get so thin it practically disappears sometimes. That's a better waterline. Okay, now we've got a waterline. That's one of our first missions. Now it actually looks like it's part of the ocean now. We need a camera shaker for sure. Gosh, we need so much stuff. It's crazy. Yeah. It's funny because it's hard to even imagine how mystified I was. Like it made no sense whatsoever. And now it makes so much sense and it's so obvious. I don't know, I feel like all the analogies, like the orange skin and the wrapping paper and all that stuff, they kind of break down for me. The thing that really made me understand it is just the simple fact, like if I clicked on this face right here, what pixels do I want that face to show? I have pixels over here. This is my texture. What pixels do I want it to show? And if I move the UV over here, then I'm just showing different pixels. That's it. That's all there is to it. So all the tools that you have for UV unwrapping We're just trying to get your UVs over here to map to the pixels that you want to show in the areas that you want to show it. I never know where to put a seam. Gotcha. Yeah, it doesn't help that every object has different like UV requirements. Characters are very different from architecture. All right, so we have so much of the stuff that we need on our. There's another part of the game where something rises out of the water, and we have so much shader support for it. So I'm hoping that we can use a lot of those same shaders. Let's go find our dragon here in the lake. And spoiler alert, the stream is full of spoilers. So here we go. Oh, we even have, look at all these cool particles we should have. Oh. All right, so it's using water creature drips. Let's get that. So it's called Rapids Additive. I'm going to duplicate water creature drips, and I'm going to call it water temple drips. My boat, for example, almost ended up good, but then there were like 2 to 3 squares on their own, very tiny. Oh, okay, yeah, so easy to end up with garbage mesh stuff. Water, oh, it shouldn't be water creature sea temple. It should be sea temple drips. Oops, it shouldn't be dripes. It should be drips. Why does it take so much time to rename a texture? Like, what is Unity doing that it needs to import so much stuff? Okay, then there's also water creature foam. I'm pretty sure I can use this. Yeah, this is the foam. So let me grab that. I'm going to grab that entire thing. Copy. Should be so much stuff we can use here. And then let's head over to here. And then in the prefab, because we've got to go into the prefab, we should place our foam, which, see, I don't know what water level is, so it's like stupid. Okay, so let's find, we've got the water creature foam. For some reason, I'm not seeing. Oh, right. Probably because we animate it. So there's the sea dragon foam. Let's raise the temple. It would be really nice, actually, if we had a copy of the temple in the raised position, just so that we can see where the temple comes out of the water. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to, unfortunately, open the goddamn prefab again and then paste it. Well, whatever. Let's just copy the transforms on this and paste it again over here. Paste component values. Very annoying. Just very, very annoying. And look, it's not even lined up. So I got to put it inside the rises and then paste the transform. Paste, then pop it out. And we'll call this Sea Temple Viz. All right. And at the top of the animation, which we can't see, we cannot see the animation because it's such a crazy setup here that we're dealing with. It's going to be excruciating, but we're just going to grit our teeth and get through it. Okay, looking at the transforms here, let's copy component and then paste. Oh, no, we can't because we broke it out of the group. Okay, well, at least we can just line it up manually. I guess that's really our only option. Just completely insane, crazy person stuff. Again, this is just so I can visualize where the temple rises out of the water so that I can start like arting it and making it look good. Because otherwise I have to like go into animate mode every single time and scrub the timeline to get the sea temple where I want it. It's very annoying. Okay. So that's where that goes. And then we can take our foam here and stick it on the water. I still can't see what's going on. I'm assuming we're gonna have to version off this foam, or we'll call it the sea temple foam. We'll hook this up to the sea temple foam. Okay. And I think that we can just animate it now. Well, first of all, I'm going to apply changes to the prefab. This is honestly, it's too difficult. I'm going to unpack the prefab. It's too difficult. Let's unpack the prefab and let me find the prefab, the underwater temple prefab. And I'm going to delete it so I don't confuse myself. And then I'll re-prefab it later. But right now I just want it all in the scene here. Okay. So now, looking at the animation, I will turn off the viz because we're actually working on the animation. We don't need it right now. And then this is right where it starts to break out of the water. So sometime before that, we should have our foam should start to foam up. So that means we want to click on our foam. I'll just type foam. And then I'll go into keyframe mode. And it's a material setting. Scroll speed. So it's black right now. So we'll key it black. And then as the temple starts to come out, we will key it wider and wider. So you can see the foam forming. Actually, it might be cool to have the foam start earlier than that. So here we see it from the game view. So the foam is a little bit big. And it's also a little bit high up. So I want to take it out of animate mode. Just want to move that foam. I want to scale it down a little bit. And I want to move it down a little bit just so that it's not so obviously clipping through. That looks better. And I think I'll duplicate it and then rotate it. So we're going to get a completely different look. Yeah, that looks nice. So we have two foams now. And I don't know if the keyframes copy. Oh, it looks like they did. That's pretty cool. That's neat. Okay. Now this is weird. Where the tip starts coming out of the water is not really where we want the foam. So why don't we maybe... I'll make the foam a child here. Is that going to survive? That would be remarkable. This is weird. It doesn't show me the color. I don't even know how it's working. So I can see the color changing on this one. Huh. Oh, this already has 2 in it. I think that's why. That's why. Okay. Anyway, I don't think it needs to get quite so bright. It's a little heavy-handed here. So let's turn it down. And then looking at the other foam, we can, I think, do similar stuff. So right here, we're going to make sure that it's keyed black. And then as we approach that key, then we're going to increase the brightness. So now we should have double the foam. Okay. And it is rotated, right? Yeah, okay. So these are completely different areas. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to move this foam right here. I guess we'll start the foam kind of where the tip emerges out of the water. And now I'll put it in keyframe mode and I will key it. And as it emerges more and more, as we move closer to the end here, I'll move the foam so that it lines up a little bit better with where it's coming out of the water by the end. Which may or may not look good. This is actually hard to see what our work here. So I'm going to shrink this down significantly. And maybe just turn off the mesh. It is kind of helpful to see. I'll make it very small. And then let's take a look at our animation. I will turn on our virtual camera and then we'll play. So that foam comes in really quick. I kind of like the foam, the way that it moves, but the whole fade in needs to happen way slower. So it looks like here's where the foam is fully faded in and it can just take way longer to fade in. Okay, we're just getting started though. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. Actually, I want the foam now. I want it to really start from the beginning. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, we need a camera shaker, that's for sure. So maybe, I don't actually think we need anything special here other than the VC needs a, oh, look at this, set VC priority on start. I don't know why we have that, but I don't think we need it. Game object finder, sure, I'll leave that attached. And we'll put a camera shaker on here. And attach the camera. And then I wish I could control the camera shakeage with the animation. You know what? I bet I can. I bet there's a, I bet that camera shake on enable will let me. Let me see if I can do it though. Okay, create an empty. Camera shake on enable, please let me do it. Heck yes. Now I can attach the camera shaker and I can control everything, and I can control exactly when it starts. So first of all, in the animation, we will turn on the camera. Where's the camera? Here it is. So by default, it's off, but in the animation, we turn it on the first frame. And I'll go ahead and maybe just wait a little bit before that shake starts happening. So now I will turn on, oops, the camera shake on enable should be off. And then we'll enable it on this frame. Of course, we're not going to be able to see this, but we're definitely going to want to shake for longer than 3 seconds because I can see that it goes about 9 seconds. So I think we're going to want to shake for about, oh, I don't know, 7 seconds. So let's set that to 7. Then we're also going to want a sound. The sound of something coming out of the water, which I'm sure that sea dragon sound is going to work. But I don't know what sound we used for it. There's an emerge sound. That's not it. Dive emerge? That sounds a little bit small. Something about a dragon. And then I'll constrain my search to audio clips. So nothing about a dragon, rise, water. Huh. I'm sure I made a custom sound for it, but I don't see it. So what I'll do is I'll just save everything and I'll go over to the sea dragon. You know, maybe it's not time for sound yet because it's going to be hard to test, but at least I'll, I guess, find the audio clip. We'll start with that. Okay. Okay, so here's the shaking. Gosh, there is so many particles. I put so much. It was a trailer shot. That's why I spent so much time. We're going to have to bring all these flip books over as well. I'll go ahead and copy them to start. These shaking callbacks don't have any sounds on them. Breach sound. Okay, so here's the sound. Whale breach. And I don't know where the other sound is. So that's awesome. Nick Tui Gaming, thanks very much for the follow. Appreciate that. I will get all these flipbook splashes. And I will also grab the breach sound. Oh, water summon sound. There it is. Let's grab it all. Let's get it all. Then let's go back over to our sea temple. I saw a red sea temple VC. What's that all about? Oh, it's in Maine. Underwater temple. That's weird. That's that shouldn't be an interior. That makes no sense. Oh, maybe underwater temple used to be an interior. Maybe I deleted the wrong prefab. Maybe I did do that. Let me look for the delete. So let me refresh and perforce. That would be bad. All right. That would be really bad. Is it in interiors? No, I don't see anything inside interiors. Models. So if it wasn't living in interiors, but I also don't see the delete. Should see a little X. Oh, there. I saw it. Okay. It's in Prefab's Underwater Temple. I don't see how that could have been an interior, but I will undo its deleting. That should bring the prefab back, and I'm hoping when I go back into Unity that reference will come back. Although that would be a miracle. Okay, it did come back. And when I open the prefab, it takes me to this. This is not an interior. This should not be here. There's no way that that's supposed to be there. So that is just an error, I believe. I think that someone thought that was an interior. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Okay, and carry on with my mission here. Just going to the Sea Temple. This would be a lot more pleasurable if my computer wasn't so slow. I really regret not buying a faster CPU. I was so conservative at the time. I was just like, you know what? It doesn't matter. The computer doesn't matter. What? It saves me like 3 seconds here and there. It's never going to add up to paying off. And it probably wouldn't, but it would just feel less yucky. Because it's very clunky right now. And particularly where we are in the world, it's like I can see everything. I think that's makes it feel extra slow as well. So I'm going to open up. Oh, right. We don't have the prefab anymore. Beautiful. I love that for me. And I'm going to paste all this stuff that we brought in and put it as part of the underwater temple. And I'll bring it on over. Bring it over right here. I'll see the water summoning sound. It's an audio source. It plays on awake. Okay, so someone just turns it on and it loops. Oh, the volume is at 0 though. Okay, so the volume, I bet I animate the volume. That's probably what I do. Let's hear what the water summon sounds like. Yeah, that sounds perfect. That is perfect. And then the breach sound looks like I just activate at the right time. Okay. It does have 3D sound. You would think I would maybe increase this a little bit. No. It's using 2D sound, so it doesn't matter at all. Stupid. Stupid. Let's look at our animation. So here's where the temple emerges. I don't think it matters where the sounds go, but the water summoning sound we will put in a keyframe for. We'll key it to 0. And then as we get further and further, as we get 1 second in, or maybe even a little bit further, we will increase this to, I don't know, value of 0.7. That might be a little bit loud, but we'll see. And then we'll keep that going throughout here. And then right about here, it'll start to slow down. So I'll put another keyframe. And then by the time the temple has fully sort of settled here, we will set that back to 0. I don't know why our foams are still foaming at this point. Let's see. Got the two foams. Oh, we never really set them to stop foaming, so let's put a key there, and then we'll grab right here, and then we'll all the way at the end. There, now they've stopped foaming. So the sound will turn off, it'll stop foaming, and I think, I don't even know if we will have a spot to put a breach sound because the breach sound is so slow. There's no real moment that it pops above the water. But maybe like right here, and maybe if we slowed the sound down, like maybe we could turn on the sound right now and then take the pitch. First of all, I don't think it should be a full 1. And then if we lower the pitch of the sound, we should get a much longer, it should take a lot longer to finish that. Maybe that'll sound cool. I don't know. Anyway, what about these splashes? The splashes should definitely start very quickly at the top here. Where are the splashes? Where are you guys? Oh, you guys are way over here. Let me move you all roughly where we need you, and then I'm going to place them more precisely now. So we have all manner of different splashes. And I know that these need to be placed right at sea level. It seems like they're all roughly in the right spot. It seems like maybe they're just a little bit high. But I'll put a splash here. And once I place the splash, I need to key its activation. Then I need to turn off. And then move a little further in the animation. Place another splash, maybe here. And then key its activation. Turn off, and then move it further along. Take another splash, place it maybe here. And key its activation, turn it off, moving along. This part where this stairs uncover should definitely have some kind of splash happen. So let's grab our next splash, move it like here, key its activation, moving on. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here, so we want to move one of the splashes here. Notice I'm putting them right at the border, right where it meets the water. And that's going to create like this broiling look. And I've done this before because we did the sea dragon, so I just kind of remember the process, and that's why. Hopefully it'll just work because I did it before and it worked before. You can't really make it worse. Oh, whoops. Yikes. Let's turn that off. You can't make it worse by adding more stuff to it, so that's the nice part. You can spin your wheels and just kind of waste your time on stuff that doesn't really make that big of an impact, but I think these splashes are going to help sell it. And kind of help obfuscate the emerging of it too, because it does look a little bit, it really is giving itself, it's giving its trick away, right? I'm going to make this part rises really quickly, so I just want lots of splashes going on here. Like it's giving away the fact that it's not a 3D object. And it starts to slow down a little here. So we'll just have a few more splashes. And we're almost out of splashes, so I want this emerging moment to have more splashes as well. Okay. We'll enable that. And then we have a few big splashes, which we can put somewhere. Maybe right here. And I will key that. Big splash. Oh, that one is really in a weird spot. We might have to move that one. Like here. We'll see. And we'll move a little further along. I'm thinking maybe a big splash over here on the edge. And I know it doesn't look like much is going on, but hopefully it'll look cool once we play it. But it's time to check. I have no idea. It's so crazy. I have no idea what this is going to look like. And I know we want this C tempo VC off, and then we'll give it a save. Phew. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Okay, jumping into play mode. I really hope it works. All right. So make sure the audio is not muted. We can definitely hear it. And then I need to play the song. And then we can key the camera magnet to go back afterward. I guess those splashes need to be slower. They're already pretty slow. I also think this waterline needs to be greener. And then we need to do the drips. The drips will help. We need some foam or like some mist to just obfuscate how junky all this stuff looks. The breach sound should happen a lot earlier. I think that will help. I wonder what that null reference exception was. Oh, the camera shaker. That's weird. Oh, there was no camera shake, probably because we need the noise. Okay. Let's do this. Basic multi-channel purlin. 60 shake. I think that will work. Mille Vanilla says, can you please make it playable on Mac? Yeah, it's weird. We've had quite a few people ask for Mac. It's weird how many people ask for Mac, but how many people I know will not play it on Mac. I mean, no, unfortunately, we just don't want to support Mac because it is just such a massive waste of time. It's just so expensive and so tedious and so difficult, and you just don't make any money from it. So that's why we don't support Mac. We have like 20 million things to do. And that little side quest just doesn't appeal to me, unfortunately. Sorry about that. So the breach sound I thought happened way too early. Let's find that breach sound, water breach sound. Camera shake, breach sound. Okay, here's the breach sound track. It happened too late. Excuse me. So I'm gonna move it earlier and maybe slow down the sound even more. so it takes even longer. And I'm hoping that we get to see the camera shake this time. But we do want some drips. Let's do the drips. That shouldn't be too hard. Got sea temple drips. So the drips should be pretty easy. We need to make a mesh. I'm just going to duplicate and just push it a little bit over itself. And then just add a new material called drips. All right, and then we'll look at the animation. And now the drips are working, which is cool. They're kind of floating off the temple a little bit. And they're sort of going in the wrong direction too. I think if we maybe do like -0.5 on this. No, 0. This should be the Y scroll, so I really just want them to go straight down. There we go. I think that's just going to be simpler for us. Nice. I want more tiling. Yeah, that looks really cool. And I guess I want them a little bit brighter so you can see them better. Sweet. And then we just want to make sure, I think that there's 2 layers of them going down, so I just want to make sure that you can see both of them. Yeah. It's awesome. It really looks like it's coming out of the water now. Okay, so we need to cut this really close, unfortunately. Just to make sure that the drips, you can actually see them. Thanks, Valley of the Winds. Yeah, it's going to take so much. I mean, it's a weird thing. I mean, every art style has its things that like look really good when you do them. And this is not one of those things. It's just like, because we have an illustrated game with proxified meshes and stuff, whenever you have, I mean, it's cool that we can actually make stuff interact with the water at all, because it's basically impossible in a 2D game. So because we have this mixed 2D, 3D business going on, we can do stuff like the player can swim and it looks reasonable, but things rising out of the water, yeah, it's not the best looking thing that this particular art style can accommodate. But it was a cool quest and it's exciting, and I don't think that players, we're not, you know, always optimizing for the best looking moments. We really like to have those stunning vistas in our environments and stuff, but we don't need every single moment to look just like, you know, super expensive. Like, this is basically the opposite of Uncharted. Uncharted is like a tube game where they just want everything to look ridiculously expensive, like a animated movie, and we just want badass quests. We want amazing quests, and we want a massive game with lots of content. So we would rather things look a little janky so that cool stuff can happen, like a sea temple can rise out of the water. See, if we had really high standards for how this needed to look, like if it needed to look like the coolest thing ever, that like was, you know, basically if it needed to look like a film, then I wouldn't be able to do this in an evening, you know? It would. So we kind of are just okay with it looking a little bit jankier, but in the principle of it is so cool. And in the context of the world, it's so cool that I personally, as a player, I'm totally okay with it. And I know that like Elder Scrolls has the same sort of philosophy. Like stuff happens in Elder Scrolls that looks a little janky, but it's a cool moment in the quest lines. Like I remember one of the like Daedric quests in Oblivion, you get teleported into the sky. And it's all a little janky, you know, but it didn't, not in a bad way. I'm not saying that like, oh, it was so janky. It was awesome. It was awesome that that happened and it was so memorable. And, you know, they were just kind of okay with it not looking perfect. Okay, so I cut out the dripping. I cut out some of the mesh here, so we're not going to see water dripping in no man's land. There we go. So now it really looks like the water's dripping just on the temple, and it looks great. And now we can animate it. So, well, this is weird. This is really weird. I guess the draw order is such that it's drawing in front of the ocean, which we don't want. So I'm going to see if I can correct that. Yeah, it's like, look at that. It's drawing underwater. What if I set it to like 2900? Sea temple dripping. What if I set it to like 2000? Okay, now I can't see it. 3000? Okay, now it's drawing over everything. 2500? Now it's just drawing over the top. Okay, cool. So I'll push it up as high as I can until it actually goes in front of the ocean. So I think 2,999. It seems like the ocean's probably at 3,000. Yep, that's where it is. Okay, so let's do like 2,990. There. Now it's just dripping in front of the stuff we needed, but it's not dripping in front of the ocean. So that looks cool. And I actually think that this material should be black by default. And in the animation, we will have that material. We'll key it black to start. And as it rises out of the water, really it should be dripping the whole time. So we'll make it just like white right here. Oh no, 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 no. Nothing's working. Of course I need to actually click on the mesh. You fool. You absolute fool. Click on the mesh. Let me catch up with chat real quick. MJ Paul, hello. Finally got the basics down for C#. Okay, exciting. That's really fun. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Valley of the Wind says, I think the storybook feel matches the craft aesthetic. All right, awesome. MJ Paul says, I've been on Blender focusing on 3D environments and just decided to study C# on a whim. Cool. Learning is fun. So looking at the rises, we have our sea temple, and this is where we're going to be keying our material. So our material is going to start black. I'm going to key it black. There it goes. And then by here, it's going to be completely like fairly white so that we can see the drips. And then we're coming up through the water. We're seeing the drips really strongly. Why is the sea temple so dark? Shouldn't be that dark. And I think we should let it drip for a while. So like, let's keep those drips coming. And then I'm going to set it back to black. Oh, no. Sea temple drips. What are you doing? What is going on? Huh? Wait. I don't understand. No. That's not. This is Rapid's additive. It's additive. It's an additive shader. You can't make things darker. How are you doing that? What's going on? Is it keying all the materials? Oh, is it a bug? Okay, let's keep an eye out. Let's expand this inspect. It has to be. It just has to be. I mean, there's no other way to explain this. Now when I go down, yes. Okay, so we cannot key a submaterial. That is freakish. That is unthinkable. Oh boy. No, 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 no. So what we need to do now is we need to find that mesh material color. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, no, 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 no. The sea temple material, here it is. And we need to get rid of this track, remove property. There you go. Okay, and I suppose what we need to do now is we need to grab this. We need to create a new dummy object because we need to separate this into a different. We'll call this sea temple drips. We need it to be a separate mesh. Whoa. Okay. And then we'll just grab the drips mesh on the front. Parent that, export it. See, with my custom exporter, it's really quick to split meshes up into different things. And it would just be really annoying to do without it. Okay, so now let's get our sea temple drips and stick it inside as a child. So it'll still follow exactly the same, but we should have custom control now over the material. So now let's set to keyframe and let's start at black. And then right about here, it'll be full on. It'll be fairly bright with the drips. There we go. That's what we want. And then right here, sort of keep the same value, and then we'll let those drips, we'll basically let this thing kind of dry out. Slowly. So see what's going to happen here is it's going to be like, it's going to drip for a little bit. Could take even longer with it. Cool. All right, where is the virtual camera? Because I want to see where it deactivates. Sea Temple VC right there. Okay, cool. Let's give it a save. Cool. Okay. Now, I don't know why the camera is on. Oh, I guess I just turned it on. Okay, here we go. Now let's give it a save, and I'm hoping we can get a glimpse of the camera shake. Okay. Oops. Okay, the camera did not return. That was pretty cool. I think we need higher frequency drippings. The camera shake is kind of intense. I want to lower that. I want to increase the frequency a little bit. The camera shaking really helps as well because it kind of covers up, just kind of covers up how janky everything looks. And the splashes look all right. So I don't know why the Sea Temple VC never turned off. Sea Temple VC. Oh, because I literally just never turned it off. I think right here it should turn off. There. Should give the camera back to the player and just let it keep dripping out. Now, the drips need higher frequency, so there, that's better. Now they're going to appear slower. Okay, maybe I'll lower the frequency just a little bit. Let's go like 2.5. Maybe I can make them streakier by keeping their horizontal tiling high and kind of lowering their vertical. The more I lower the vertical, the streakier the streaks are going to be. Let's go like 2.3 here. Something like that. Friendly, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Okay, and then let's go to the camera shakeage. So camera shake on enable. The duration, 7 seconds, seem to work well. The amplitude, I'll just lower just a smidge. And I believe the frequency is handled here. So there's the frequency gain. And maybe just like 1.5, a little bit. A little bit of 1.5. Okay. We need some kind of mist. Some kind of like waterfall mist stuff. I am quite pleased with that so far. The only thing I'm not pleased with is how janky the entire setup is for modification. But I guess the dragon was like that too. It was just a nightmare to author. I just didn't set it up in a way that like, I didn't spend a lot of time setting it all up. Because I just thought, oh, just get this done. Make a beautiful shot for the trailer. Just grind it out and you're done. And don't worry about it. I don't know if it's the right choice. Okay, so we need some kind of, we got the foam. We just need some kind of, oh, here. Is it the big dust puff? Is that what it is? Apparently not, because it's completely in the wrong location. Is that doing anything? This big dust puff. Oh, it totally is. Yeah. I don't know why it has such a weird pivot, but we should have like a more broiling. I want this to be broiling for a longer time, but let's check this out. Let's go back to our underwater temple here, and I'll stick that big dust puff in there, and I will move it to the location where the temple comes out. I'll just put it right in the middle there. Well, actually, you know what might be big brain is sort of moving it in front of everything. So in camera space, it should look like it's on top of everything. But let's actually verify that that is true. Oh yeah, you can't see a particle. You have to just look at it in the editor. This in theory should work. And it just bursts once, right? Is that what's going on? We got the emission. Yeah, it has a 0. So technically we should be able to do like multiple cycles. What if we just did like 5 cycles of each of these and then did it? Oh yeah, that's working. Cool. And I think I could scale it. Hell yeah. Okay, so could I do like 10 cycles? Let's try that. Yeah. It's working. And I think what we might want to do is sort of follow the spot where the action is. So we'll start right here. We'll move our little particle emitter up to that area. I'll stop it. I wish we could pause it. Yeah, there we go. Now we can see exactly. Yeah. That's exactly where we want it. Cool. Maybe a little lower. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. And then we go further in the animation, all the way till the end here. We want this thing lower, more toward the base of where it's meeting the water, where all the action is happening down here. Okay, and now I don't know exactly how long that thing will be going for, but well, let's kind of time it here. Restart. Lasts quite a while, about 7 seconds. Let's make it last a little bit. Actually, maybe that's just perfect. Let's do 11, and then we'll turn it off, and then we'll have it key. Right as this thing starts to emerge, that's when it'll start kicking its poof. Save. Excellent. Most excellent. Really excited to see that particle, because that will really obfuscate some of the commotion happening underneath there. Cool. And then the dripping should start to go away. Oh, hey, that's not bad. That is not bad. All right. That's all right. It's okay. It's not the coolest thing in the world, but I think it works. I do think that the big dust puff should be a little bit more opaque. I would like it to cover up more, because right now it's pretty tame. So I'm going to brighten it up to just make it cover more of the action. That might be too bright, but it is a giant ass temple coming out of the water. So maybe that'll be just right. We do have a null reference exception, unfortunately. I think that's maybe when I exited play mode. We're going to go with that. What else happened that I didn't like? Some of the splashes were like just kind of clipping through, which surprised me. And it was actually the big splashes really that were clipping through. I'm just going to blindly move them forward a touch and hope that that did the trick. Could also maybe slow down the splashes a little bit. So they're each at 0.22 second duration. Nah, you know, it's not worth it. I'm not going to mess with it. But now maybe let's try to get some collision going. So in order to get the player to actually be able to walk up this thing, we're going to have our work cut out for us. I'm going to move the waterline and the drippage onto its own layer and just leave the base render mesh. So let's get the waterline moving onto its own layer, and then I'll also get that drippage dummy, and then I'll make a new dummy, and this one will be for fizz, and I'll grab the dummy and the render mesh and I'll move them onto their own layer. I'm going to parent the render mesh to the dummy. And what I need to do is put a cut right here. I'm going to preserve the UVs. And okay, I'm going to leave that one on that other side. And then I'll grab, really, I would like this to have like a solid back. So let's make a solid back here. Oops, this is going to cause issues if I don't put a cut right here. There we go. I'll remove doubles. And then I'll go ahead and extend this down just like this. Go into global. And I'll fill in that over there. I'm going to triangulate it just so we can make sure we know what's going on with how it triangulated. Okay. And I do want this to be a watertight mesh. Which means that it doesn't have any open faces. I'll give it a little bit here just so the player can kind of like walk up to it, up from the water, just to make sure that they can actually do that. Then I'll go straight down, then we'll flatten it out on the bottom. Then I'll maybe close this off right here and then fill that hole. Okay. And I like to remove the texture, and I like to make it look all white like that because I don't actually want I don't want to be confused about what I'm looking at. Now, we do need, this is a bit tricky. We need some railings for the player. And we don't want them going over here. So in order to make them not go over there, I think what I need to do is grab all of these edges right here. And then we're going to extrude this up. These are going to kind of be the railing. And then here is where things are going to get a little weird, but I want to wall all of this off. So all this stuff we just did, I'm just going to delete it because I just want it to be a straight wall. We don't actually want to be able to walk on anything other than the path here. So I'm deleting all this stuff. And I will even actually delete this. Okay, I'll leave some of that, but let's delete all this here. We don't want it necessarily. I'll leave this at the top just because it's kind of a natural walling. But what I don't want players to be able to go out left or right, and I don't want players to, oops. I don't want players to be able to walk up the sides. Let me catch up with chat here. James H. Music, hello. Wondering if you were going to sharpen up. I don't understand. Looking. Oh, no. Okay, I get it now. Looking fresh, mate. The Australian. And you're talking about my haircut. All right, now I get it. Sorry, I wasn't primed in the correct context to quickly understand that. I just had my brain on. My brain was in Sea Temple mode. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab all these edges here and extrude them straight up. So these walls should not let the player go anywhere. This is kind of a predicament. I guess I do want to delete this face. And maybe the best thing to do would just be to merge this vert with this one at last. There we go. And we'll kind of do something similar over here where we just delete this and we merge this vert with this one at last. Now we've got the walls, we've got everything we need. And I don't really care about anything else because the player should not be able to get up this. Although James will probably figure out a way. But ideally the player can't go past these walls, so you know, maybe it would be best just to kind of continue making this watertight by filling this in like this. Do I need to bother? Maybe don't bother. Don't bother, dude. Don't do it. It's going to be fine. I don't think players are going to be able to. Might as well make the bottom open as well. That should be fine. So now everything is ship shape. Cool. Awesome. Very good. Oops. We had an issue with the exports. C-Temple Fizz. And then this one should be C-Temple LD0. C-Temple Fizz.01. No. I think I accidentally duplicated this twice. So let me delete that. And just make sure, yeah, so this is our render mesh. And this is mostly our render mesh, but also the drips. So then we'll export. Now we've exported. Okay, and then we should have our fizz on our C-Temple under the rises group. We can add our mesh collider, and it'll have a gravel or stone or whatever. Stone? Okay, yeah, stone. We'll go stone, and we use our C-Temple fizz. And I don't actually know how we're going to get there, because we're going to be coming out from the water, but I don't think we can swim in this area. We have some really tough swim markup work to do, because I don't ever remember how the swim system works in terms of what walls we need and what collision we need. Yeah, this is the thing you found in the ocean. So this black thing I'm standing on is actually just a placeholder. This is an indicator where the dark water will be, which we're going to have to author. So we need some like dark looking water, like special looking water that you are supposed to cast this spell. And there's no cast sound. We need a cast sound. And then we got this. Cool. Hey, the collision is actually working quite well. I suspect we can get a higher resolution here. Oh, I'm really pleased with that. And the temple looks pretty damn big too. Like it looks big. The interior is definitely going to be bigger. We kind of twist physics a lot in this game. But I think it works. Looks a little weird, like... Nah, it's gonna work. It'll be cool. It's like the wrong value or something. I can't quite explain it. But we can mess with that. Or maybe the wrong color. Just looks strange. Like it looks small somehow. The physics are strange how it's just kind of teetering up here at the top. Anyway, I'm really glad the physics pretty much work flawlessly here. And I mean, the collision works, which is great. You know what we could also do is scale the player down when that would make it look a lot bigger. But perhaps we don't have to. What did I need to do next? So that works fairly well. I have to work out the swim what's going on with the swim wall and everything. Thank you, Gary Dean. Doggo, hello and welcome, says, hi, I finished the demo and it's amazing how you are able to pull the player into the world already in a main menu in both your games. All right. Hey, thank you so much. That really puts a smile on my face. And I'm glad you liked the main menus. I'm a sucker for main menus myself, so I'm glad you like the main menus. I think Phoenix is working, our composer is working on a new main menu track, and I think it's going to be even better, like significantly better. It's really quite stunning, the song he's doing. It's like an overture of a bunch of themes in the game. I think it'll be really cool. And the main menu song is already good, so I wasn't even in favor of him doing it. I was like, no, the main menu song's already good enough. It's the song we used for our first trailer. And he was like, no, I can do much better than this. So Simnidally, thank you so much. What was I doing? I don't remember exactly what I was doing. So this temple is working. I wonder if we should keep the camera magnet. I don't know. I don't like what's going on with the reflections, that's for sure. It makes everything look really small right now. If the water looked better, then this entire thing would look better. But because these reflections are so quickly moving and following the camera, it makes this whole area look not as good as it could, I think. Maybe if we had some waters radiating out from here, it would look a little bit better, because where this meets the ocean does not look good. I also don't know what's going on with the sandbar down here. The terrain, the beach terrain is like, there we go. Like I want it to be like here so that it creates the shallow looking water. It doesn't actually have to pop up at all. It can stay completely submerged, but I would like it just underneath the surface. See what a difference that makes. We also get these water lines radiating, which is cool. So I'm going to have to make sure that that happens. And then just this gradient alone, to me, makes a huge difference in the perception of the water. When it's so flat back there, it looks wrong. It would be cool if there were some birds just kind of circling up here as well. But of course, it wasn't here a second ago, so I don't know if we should have the birds. It's tough to say. But we need something. I also don't like how this vegetation is not animated, but we can't do everything. We can't, as much as I would love to. Ranger Pudin, thank you very much for the Ranger Puddin, maybe is how you say it. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. And Gamer Noob, thank you. Thank you, guys. So let's see if we can get that beach section underneath looking to more successfully create the water line or the shallow water impression. So I think we can significantly scale this down, first of all, and just to get it right there poking up. We need it to come close, but not quite. Oops, didn't mean to move it down that much. And I think we can scale it down even more. There. I imagine that won't be breaking above the water at all. And this whole area rises up, so that's good. I might put another one back here just so that we can have that shallower looking water back here. Because it really changes the look of the ocean. Hey, James H. Music, thank you for the follow. Let's see. This is gonna kind of be weird. Let's rotate it a little bit. Move it. We don't want that to poke above the water. We'll see if it does. Okay, well, let's get working on the door. The door. So we want a door that you can interact with. So in order to make a door, I'm going to have to create the dummy object here. I'll move it up exactly 3. I'm moving it by discrete amounts so that we can easily recreate it in Unity. Doesn't have to be perfect, but well, there we go. I'll move it back like 0.5. Okay, we'll leave it like that. 0.25, 0.25. It's getting a little bit difficult now, but we'll go C temple door underscore LD0. And then I need to copy the render mesh and then just grab just this one face and then push it just a tiny bit so it's floating over everything else, and then parent it to our new door dummy. The dummy makes a new mesh in Unity for me with my custom exporter. And what I have to do now is extremely tediously cut out what I want to light up, which just happens to be this dark part right here. Although it's technically not a door, right? It's technically something the player just ought to walk into. But it's going to be pretty hard to pull that off. You know what? Maybe I should just buck up. Should I buck up and actually let the player walk in here? It wouldn't be that hard. Okay, it's not that hard. Come on, let's buck up. Let's do it. Come on. So what we need to do is we need to go into Photoshop and grab this blackness back here. It's going to be really hard to select because we have all this other crapola on top. And actually, it might be impossible to select. We've got the gradient. What's going on here? Clearly, this is the layer we want. Okay, that's what we want. And then I'll just Control J that. And then I'll delete this. And then I will remove that. Okay, cool. So now we've got that. I'm going to move that all the way to the top. And we'll call it door. And then I'll turn the gradient back on. Although actually, no, I'll leave it off so I can select this. We don't actually need any of this back here, so I'm just going to try to erase it. Fortunately, the stair is on a different layer, so I'm just going to erase right up to the border here. Cool. And now the player should just be able to walk right in there, but we will need a mesh behind it. So I'm going to move this door business over here. And then I want to extend it so that we don't get that yucky sort of aliasing stuff. Actually, I'll use the dark value. Just make sure we have a lot on the sides here. I'll give a lot of leeway. Okay. And now we got to get rid of that yucky fringing. So in order to do that, I'm going to go with, what is it, like matting, remove, defringe, remove from white matte. Okay, that obviously destroyed it. So we'll go with matting, defringe, and I'll defringe it like 4 pixels. There we go. Now it's perfect. Almost. There's still a little bit over here. Whatevs. Can't be perfect. I'll just paint over it using my hands. Maybe it'd be nice to give like a soft look to this border. So I will just paint over the border like this. Just completely paint over it. And then I'm just going to reduce the opacity of that layer. There we go. It's not completely getting rid of that white garbage, but got rid of a little bit of it. Okay. Oh, thanks. Hey, Nanani. I don't know why I have trouble saying that. Hey, Nanani. It's not that hard to say. Yeah, my wife Jacqueline is going to. The baby's coming out on Thursday, whether she has spontaneous labor or not. So these are our last 2 days. The baby is breech, unfortunately. So. I do want to get rid of this sort of white stuff. Let's get rid of that. There we go. There we go. That's better. Yeah, here it comes. Here it comes. I'll be back soon. We have help. Gonna try to get back. The biggest mistake I made with our first child is I didn't like do paternity. I was just like, I'm just gonna try to keep working. I mean, he wakes up every like 2 hours, so I should be able to work in between. And it was just a nightmare. It was just so stressful. And if I had just been like, I'm just going to take like 2 weeks and I'm not going to do a single bit of work. I'm not even going to sit at my computer, like nothing, zero expectations for myself, then I think it would have been much less stressful. However, here I am now doing the same exact thing because now I don't feel like we have that. I don't feel like I can take 2 weeks. I don't feel like we have the time. I don't feel like we have the money to do it. Because, 2 weeks is, we need, the game needs to, that's 2 weeks of game that will not get made. All right, so there's the door. Save that. And now when I update this texture, oops, let me put that gradient back on and save. Update the texture. There we go. Now it's transparent. Not here, but it should be. I could probably like turn on transparency or something. We probably see it. Might be helpful. There we go. Okay. And let me just put a plane behind this. Yeah, it will all be over soon. The game will be out. It will all be over soon. That's what I'm thinking. I'm kind of excited. I mean, I'm excited for our second baby to come, but I'm also excited just to pull the Band-Aid off. Just like, here we go, baby. Like, let's do it. Like, let's bring it on. Final boss, 2 babies, infant. Keep working, suffer, don't sleep, work as hard as you freaking can, work like your life is on the line because it is. Let's go, baby. Rock and roll. And all this time, so far this year, I've just been sort of like in anticipation. The baby's going to come. How are we going to do this? This is going to be insane. And I'm just excited to let's do it. So we need a lot more runway here. I'm going to pull this back. Osmar says, wasn't earnings good from the first game to be able to take a break? So because we spent 7 years making Glimmerwick, and you know, we have we have contractors. We spent all our money, which is bananas, but we did. So we're running out of money now. So time is money. But yeah, it could have been real nice. Could have been real nice. Just if it just made a little more, or we just took a little less time, then things would be a lot less stressful right now. But it just kind of came down to the end, and it won't happen again if we get the gift of another semi hit. It's gonna be all right because we already have like equity in our house and stuff, so it should be over. The money game should be over if we can just ship Glimmerwick, and if it sells as much as it is looking like it's going to, then we should be all right. So it's kind of annoying how it's really hard to tell. If our door is lining up. Oh, we got to cut that off on the side. Anish asks, do you use Substance Painter? No, I've never used Substance Painter. I mean, this game is not, you know, I make all the textures manually. There are when we use textures, I mean, most of the textures in the game are illustrations from Jacqueline. So Jacqueline really makes most of the textures. But of the tiling textures, I don't use Substance. I know it's a really good software, but I just never learned it. Kind of came out. It got popular sort of after my initial 3D learning phase, and I just never really learned it. So, but I definitely think that it's the way to go in the modern age. Did you end up buying a horse? Oh, a house. I thought it was some weird joke that I didn't understand. Yes, we bought a house. We actually bought two. I mean, we don't own two. We bought one and then we sold it and then we bought another, which was another way we lost money because we didn't know we wanted children, basically. And we didn't decide that until later. 1 second, folks. Oh, okay, sorry about that, folks. All right. Gertie Dean says apparently Blender has something that lets you paint textures in a decent way. Yeah, it's got the texture, the 3D texture painting. I've never been a fan of 3D texture painting. I'm an old school guy. I like UV mapping. I like drawing, making my textures in a normal image manipulation app. Works well. Doggo says, did you or your wife learn level design before eShade, or did you go with your guts? The world is quite small, but still so much fun running around. There's always something interesting to find. Well, thank you. I'm glad you liked the world of eShade. I would say nobody really learns level design. I mean, there's a couple books on it, but if you typed in like level design tips into Google, or you picked up that book on level design, like the one book that exists, it's all about shooters. It's only about shooters. It's all about like, there's literally a chapter in that book for like cover mechanics. So it's really tailored to one very specific kind of game. So I don't know, there's not really a lot of stuff on level design, but I didn't have any like formal education in level design. Academia certainly doesn't know shit about level design. But I always have loved game worlds, and we just learned a lot while making eShade, and the world was the star because the way we make our games, because the world is the star. I think of course we end up with good worlds because we focus on it. And of course we want there to be wonder around every corner. Like we want people to like, say when they come around the next corner. So we're always trying to think of cool, I guess cool ideas in the world. And we don't really even think of it as a level per se, although that is the language of video games. Like we want you to find something cool on like a spatial level. Like we have a lot of waterways and canyons and mountains that overlook very particular things, and caves that take you, to other little bays and stuff. We just try to make pockets of coolness everywhere, and we work really hard on it. It's more of an art thing. It's definitely art first. It's not game design. And most game designers, they're not good artists. They don't know shit about art. But we're such artists that we let the art guide us. A visual artist, really. We let the visual art guide our decisions about what to do. Like why does eShade, why is there a giant in the Howling Caverns in eShade, why is there this giant open area right in the middle? It's for the vista. It's because I wanted that moment when you emerge from a smaller part of the cave into a larger part of the cave. I had that vision, like that visual, that composition in mind of all the stars, the little glowworms on the stalagmites and stalactites. And because I had that vision, I wanted to make that. So then we had to design the world and the level to make that moment happen, to make that vista happen inside of the cave. And so because I have all these vistas that I have in mind, like, oh, I want this bridge and I want this epic canyon and the sunset behind it, and I want, this huge sprawling city on the right. Well, that's the city was Nava, and the bridge ended up being the bridge into Nava. And then, of course, we even designed the sunset in terms of where the sun actually goes down and where the sun actually rises to make all these cool moments. So that's why eShade is full of so many like paintable moments, because I literally just designed them to look that way. James says, apparently I created a thread in dev stream channel. Oh, okay. Let's see. Skizzer7, thank you for the follow. All right, so how are we going to tell what's going on here? We've got to scrub through the animation. And then, okay, so here we go. So I can see that looks good. The shadow is kind of being cast in there in a way that sort of gives up its trick that there's nothing here. So we need something there to block the lights. I think what I'll do maybe is just, well, I will extrude a wall here pretty tall and then make sure that to pull this vert back so it's not clipping through. And then I'll grab this one face and I will map that one face to some pixels. And I think I will separate that out and then flip that normal. And I'm hoping that when we export this and I go back into Unity, I'm going to see that light right there go away. There it went. Okay, so now it looks totally dark. Didn't end up actually mattering how well the texture was lining up because it's pretty hard to see what's going on there, especially with that cast shadow. It looks really good though. Looks really nice. It makes me feel like we should have more cast shadows even within the drawing itself. Within the illustration might look nice. Anyway, there's absolutely no reason not to have more. I'm going to make a group for this door. Call it door. A little bit more on this texture, just to sort of as safety. Make sure we don't have anything poking through here. There we go. Huh. I just pressed V and it made everything dim. I don't know what V does, but I'll extend it back a little bit more. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. We need our collision to accommodate this. So let's put the collision. Here, we just simply extrude. Yeah, simply extrude here. Very easy. Catch up with chats. Oh, it's just the MooBot. Okay. There we go. I don't think we need this collision face back here or this collision face up here either. Export. And I don't think we have an interior yet for the sea temple. Okay, we got a clip. So we've got a little bit of stuff over here we need to get rid of. Export. What else? What else do we need? I do think the birds would help with scale and stuff, but I just don't. There shouldn't really be. Well, maybe there should be birds here. I don't know. Just having birds in the middle of the ocean. Let's put some birds here. Let's put some damn birds. Some seagulls. Let's get some seagulls. There's probably some birds over here on this island, right? Yeah. Just a few, not too many. Let's get some seagulls. Duplicate. Move them over to here. And make sure to put them in the right group. I'm going to turn on that sea temple viz. And I'll just make sure that the seagulls are where I want them. And if I make the seagulls small, I make the seagulls, first of all, I want them just above so they don't end up clipping through. And the smaller I make the seagulls, the bigger this thing is going to look. So make these seagulls like extra small. Just needs to be something there. Because it's like, it's kind of an empty scene with this temple. I also think that this waterline could be a little bit better. There, I think that looks better. And then maybe it doesn't need to be quite so bright, and maybe it could be a little bit more green. There, I think that fits in better. I also maybe wanted to do some like ripples coming out from like these sorts of deal. Come on now. This is what I want. One of these radial ripples. Bunch of them. Copy. Let's go. Hello, Vanilla Soup says, love what I'm seeing of the game so far. All right. Thank you for the kind words. Wish listed. Thank you for that very much. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that support. Let me put some of these ripples down. I will actually attach them to our sea temple. Just because I don't really want them sitting around before the sea temple gets here. That would be kind of strange. Although it might be kind of weird if they pop up and emerge out of the water, but I don't really know what to do about that. So we're just going to roll with this. Going to want to put these at 0, 0. Why are they so far away? Oh, because the Z? Yeah, that's got to be why. Okay. Nope. Completely random. Oh, no, no, no. This is where they're meant to be. I'm an idiot. Be quiet, you. It's enough out of you. Right, so I just want to place them in a spot where it looks like they're interacting with the water. Like here. I want to make sure they actually do float above the water. This thing is such an irregular shape. It was really not very smart to leave it like that. Okay, let's put another one over here. They really should be on the same level. And then I'll put a final one over here. And I will rotate it so that at least they don't look like clones of each other. Unfortunately, they are adhering to the same frequency, so I'm going to do the number 2. There, yeah, now it's at a different frequency. That seems better. Seems like this one is maybe revealing itself too much. I'll shove it back a little further. Okay. Now I will save that. Okay, well, let's turn off the viz. And I hope we get a good feeling of this now. Let's see. It's got to be some kind of cast noise. Ew, no, we can't have the sand coming out there. The sand needs to go down. Yeah, I don't want it to be sitting on the sands. Although, well, am I tripping here? Maybe. Do we want it on the sand? Or do we want it just sticking out of the water? Well, let's move the sandbars down each about half a meter to make sure they're completely underwater. No, we cannot have them showing ever. So I'll move it down another half a meter. But now it's like, you can hardly even, it's not even impacting the, oh, whoops. I was going to say, it's not even making an impact on the water there like we wanted. 6.5. But I'm hoping it doesn't show up. That one needs to be scaled down. It's just too big. Seagulls are annoying. But we need some ocean sounds here too, because there's absolutely no sound at all. It looks kind of cool. The seagulls definitely help. It's funny how much the seagulls help, actually. Okay, cool. And we can go inside, which is what I wanted. Just sort of disappear inside this temple. Well, that's pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet. Do we have more resolution here? Oh, I'm going to be so excited if we have more. And so sad if we don't. I'm guessing we don't. Please, 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 for me, please, please, please. No. I thought maybe we were at 2048 because I think it would be nice if it was sharper. When I go down to 2048, it is... it disappeared. Why is it disappearing? Why does it disappear when I go here? Maybe the culling grid or something? I don't know. That's really weird. We need to exclude it. James says, which spell? I don't know. Do you want the spoilers? I don't want the spoilers. Okay, we got to make this thing not cull, I think. Oh, I'm pretty pleased with this. All of these things need to be scaled down and pushed further back. That needs to go down to 6.5, and this needs to go down to 6. I think it looks cool. I'm surprised. Looks cooler than I thought it would even. And I'm just wondering if we should even have a camera magnet on it. Cool. All right, so this will go to 6, and this should be 6.5. And then these I wanted smaller, so each one should be smaller. I want to push them all back. I want this one to be a little bit smaller. This one to be a lot smaller. Okay. And then I wanted a sound. Oh, I also think it'd probably be easier to get up in this thing if we beveled this a little bit. So like, I'll just kind of pull this back. I could even do a bevel on this just to make it easier to round that corner for players. And then I want like a distant ocean sound. So let's go distance. Distant beach ambience. Sorry, folks, 1 second. So now, we want to duplicate a distant beach ambience and put it right here. Right here. Yes, perfect. It's got all kinds of crazy rotation we don't need. And the seagulls, I reckon, should be quieter. They're just kind of loud. So let me turn down that volume to like 0.3. I really want to figure out the swim volume thing. I don't know what's going on with that. What else? Oh, right. So we got to sort out the deep water look. I do have an idea for it. So to start the idea, I think I'll just duplicate a random texture. And I'll just call this like Sea Temple Deep Water. And it doesn't need to be big. I'm pretty sure 256 will be enough. And yep, proceed. I don't think it needs any of this stuff. I'll keep this around just because it might be good, but I actually think what I want is a gradient from white to black. Radial gradients. I have an idea. Actually, I will do this in 2 parts. It's got to be white on the outside and black on the inside. And potentially a couple layers of black. Something like that. We'll save. What I will do is create a sort of irregular edge. So I'll do that. I'll just erase away some of the edge here. Just to create this sort of irregular shape. Which is going to be the border of our deep water. Okay, save that. Now we need a plane. So here I do have a shader called Dark Water Patch. I'll start with that. But we want a plane replacement. Okay, so we've got the plane. I'll set the box collider to be 1, 1. Oh, whoops. The center should be 0, 0, 0, and this should be, we'll just do 1, 1, 1. Oh, wait, maybe that's not what we wanted to do. Oh, yeah, 10, I think, is the size. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. And then we want to hook up our... So we already have this cut out. Let's do dark water. No! Sea temple, deep water. And this is my big plan. I'm going to set it to be an oscillate shader. So there's decal oscillate and cutout oscillate. I think in this case I want the cutout oscillate. Ugh. We might need a bit more here. We might need a little bit more room to play with the shape. So I will add a little bit more just to make it a little bit rounder and a little bit less boxy looking, sort of like this. I don't think this is going to work because I think it needs some diffraction going on. But my idea was basically to make it perfectly match the color of the water. Let's go with the decal. Slight decal. Okay, so I can't even see it. Why can't I see it? It's just completely gone. Did the decal ever work? I don't know. I don't know if the decal ever worked, but it's clearly not working now, so... So we're going to have some kind of texture here. There's rain ripples. Got to have some kind of texture for this to work. Well, thank you, Ryan JQ. Yes, it's good to have the long hair out of the way. Plus the baby's coming and, you know, I don't know when I'm going to have time to cut it. I think I hear my baby boy going to bed. I'm going to go say goodnight to him. All right, so this plan is not working, clearly. So we need some other plan. Here's just the water shader straight up. I wonder if we could get it to do some kind of decal look. What about, is there like some kind of diffracted reflection? Ooh. Maybe that could work. Is it a decal style though? Because we need some method of defining the we need some method of defining, you know, the edges of it. So I don't quite know what to do about that. What kind of decal? There's decal. All right, we already messed with that one, and that one was not going to work for us. Definitely some kind of diffracted reflection. There's diffracted reflection blend. What if we just used a gradient? Okay, well, I don't know why it's in the corner there, but this could work. If we did like an offset of 0.5, would it actually be in the right spot? Yes, it would. Okay, let's see what we got. So we got diffraction. Where's our water texture here? We got this perfect water diffraction. I think we're using it on the actual water, so let's see. Let me just type in ocean or pond or anything, but ocean should have it. Should be this texture right here. It's called water distortion. Deep. Come on. Sea temple. Oh my God. It's just. Ugh. God. I can't remember the name of the goddamn material. What is the name of the material? It's like driving me insane. Okay. I'll just search Sea Temple. And just try to find the dark water patch. It's called the dark water patch. It's like, why was that so hard to find? Good Lord. Okay. Now I don't remember there's something about distortion. I know that. There it is, water distortion. So there's the diffraction. Okay, now we're in business. I wonder why over here it doesn't alpha out, but over here it alphas out. Very peculiar. Very peculiar. So that's the diffraction. And we should have like a couple layers of it, right? This is just not looking correct. The color cover, I don't know what this is. Just create like dark blue and then tile this really hard. Well, I don't see much diffraction going on. Doesn't look like dark water to me. Well, this isn't working. Also, why is it not alphaing out at the corner? It's just very bizarre behavior. Oh, does it have to do with where the reflections at? Oh, well, super weird. I don't get it. Could we do like a decal, faded decal? That doesn't seem to do anything. It's very odd. And what is this? What is this little... What is going on? What is the alpha channel look like in the radial gradient? It has no alpha channel. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need something with an alpha channel. Well, what we could do is we could do like decal. I know there's some decal. Crazy. I have no idea what the governing logic is here. But it looks like crap. So I'm going to have to go to the drawing board because I don't know how to make this look good. Got to come up with some kind of tech for this. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a stream now. I'm sort of running out of ideas for this. The last thing we will do is watch our beautiful temple rise out of the water, and then I'm going to call it a stream. Okay, here we are. Hey, that diffraction looks a lot better now. That's weird. Maybe it has promise after all my moaning. The end is definitely really strange. All right. Well, I'm pleased with that. Thank you, sheep. Thank you, Xeon Mage. Yeah, it works okay. The thing I'm least satisfied with is the bottom. It just sort of like really looks like it comes and floats out of the water. It's not ideal. Anyway, I think it'll do. I think it'll still be a cool moment in the quest. But for now, I'm going to head off, get something to eat. I want to thank everyone for hanging out with me while we made that cool temple rising out of the water. The Skizzer, I don't know if I thanked you for the follow. If you're still around, thank you. Appreciate it. And no sleep till bedtime. Appreciate the follow. Thank you. Thank you. All right, folks, I'm going to head off. Make sure I get some good sleep. I don't know how much sleep I'm going to be getting come Friday. So, see you guys.